Hello, class. Welfare is something that a lot of people apply for. Whether or not they get it is something completely different. This is a program to help many people that have very little money and things like insurance. Over the past few years, many states have tried to pass a bill in legislation that the drug test should be required. According to the NCSL, as of March 26, 2014, there have been 22 states that have petitioned for this bill to be passed. Many people of the government feel like it is the right thing to do because there is not a need to be giving out free money to someone who is only going to use it to benefit their drug addiction, and not buying food and things for themselves or their family they are trying and supposed to be supporting. The US government this year spent over 900 billion on the 70 different means tested welfare programs. These programs, not including Social Security, Medicare, or unemployment insurance, provide cash, food, housing, medical care, and targeted social services to poor and low income Americans. If you think that there should not be required for welfare recipients, let me persuade you to consider the opposite. Did you know that we as taxpayers are paying for the little things like this? Do you want your money to be going to the people who are only going to be buying drugs when they are being required to pay for something to help themselves to free money? I can assure you that not the entire population that gets welfare is spending it on drugs. But there is a high number that actually are spending it on drugs that we will never find if there is not a drug test to be done. Many people agree that welfare recipients should be required to pass a drug test. This is something that is meant to help you if you are in need to support a family or in need of assistance for some reason. If someone is going out to use that assistance money to buy drugs, what is the point of the help? This is something that is meant to help people get back on their feet and live a life that is successful, not failing. There are also people that argue that there should not be a required drug test. This is because they think that if they get drug tested, they will be being targeted as the people who have nothing, so they resort to drugs. A lot of the people that are arguing against having a drug test are the people on welfare. There are also a lot of people within the legislation and things that are also against this because they don't think that it is a fair thing to be testing people that have no suspicion of doing drugs. Personally, I absolutely think that people should be drug tested that request and receive welfare. If there is not a way to prove what they are spending this free money on, then what is the point of it? If these people are not required to take a drug test, then why shouldn't everyone just apply for welfare? The people in the legislation that are against having a drug test argue the fact that there may be some biased things that are going on with having to take a drug test. But we as Americans should feel that there should be a requirement for a drug test because there is no need to be giving away our tax money to people that are just going to go and spend it on drugs instead of helping their kids or their family or themselves find a place to live and to have a job. So, may I remind you though, there are already several states that have passed this bill, and it can only become more as time goes on. If we take a look at the statistics, there are a lot in states that do give drug tests versus the ones that don't, and it is proven that the people who apply turn their lives around so they can get the money. It only takes one time, to not pass the drug test, And in those states that pass the bill, they get kicked out of welfare and they are back on the streets where they came from.